Hello there, folks. It is Moose, Sunday evening, the 27th of February, and this is I don't want to say monumental, but a very significant game to me, at least on my behalf. I don't know if you can see. That is the result. That is my opponent's ELO at 1198, um, which is not that masterful of a ranking here. That's actually only given him expert status. Being that I am newer to this site, um, well, to this new profile, if you will, my ELO is in a simply just an expert ranking as well. Right now, it is only 1072 to be exact. That is, but simply only because I created a new profile. My whole point is, so this is on my behalf. I'm a master, not a grandmaster, a chess master, and my opponent, from what I understand, we spoke. Um, he's a 17-year-old from Ukraine, so needless to say, his culture is developed around chess. He was far superior on paper, and then we played. I am white pieces, he is black pieces. His name is Slavajka. Probably a made up name, but that's his screen name at least. And that's Pink Floyd in the background. So I play the Danish Gambit as usual. He accepts it, and he himself just begins to eat into it. Now, often, see where his black square is, right there, or his pawn on the black square. Um, I always bring out my kingside bishop when I'm white, at least, um, to c4 to create a nice fianchetto. Oh, excuse me, one moment. Um, and often the opponent will then take this pawn, which would result in, yes, loss of 3 pawns from the jump, however, giving me a nice fianchetto with my black bishop. I call it the black bishop because it's you have a bishop that covers only white squares and a bishop that covers only black squares. However, he plays into threatening the queen. I don't really like that, but my only option is to eat it, and it does result in positioning for me. I'm going to go ahead a couple moves because it stays not boring, just not that dynamic. However, on my behalf, I do play good D. Like this series of moves right here, it could have went wrong if I didn't play that correctly. So played to keep pressure on his queen. Now, right here, if I eat that pawn, he eats the pawn with his knight, then I could eat his knight with my bishop. He eats my bishop with his queen, giving me an opportunity to move my rook right here, and gaining his queen because his queen would be in front of his king. However, I decided to expand my back row because that's not definitive that series would take place. He then castles, and here's where I begin to capitalize. Threaten the queen, and then there's threat right here. Now, because I exposed my back row, that gave me more security. So what do? I'm taking threat on that bishop. Make it so, make him retreat. Now I could just take his bishop right now. However, notice my knight is directly in front of his queen, and I have the availability to give up my knight, throw him in check. He has to get out of check. No matter how he gets out of check, it will not guard his queen, and I gain his queen. Bam, the queen is mine, check. Now we're only 15 moves in, and this game, my opponent still played a very valid, strong defense. So I had to capitalize. make smart moves. I tried a little sacrifice there, didn't work. There's the pin. Eat the bishop, get those rooks out that back rank, eat a pawn, get some material, keep the pressure on. There's good pressure by my opponent. Keep pressure on, keep more pressure on his behalf. Retreat when you have to. Bad move by him because that takes that shell. They call it a shell when they have multiple pieces around a king. There's my rook. It comes from downtown, threatening that square. He retreats. Now what do? I choose to throw him in check. No decision but to get out. And now I'm going to give up my queen. This is how. If I put my queen at this back rank, this back row, it's got to be eaten by that rook. My rook eats his rook. Checkmate. The moment that move is made, I make that move. He sees it. He resigns. Good night, everybody. It's not about keeping your pieces. It's about knowing where they can and can't go, keeping your position, and keeping confident in your play. Again, guten Jagd.